Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. This is the pre-show mantra. We'll get into the show momentarily. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be rich. I deserve to be wealthy. I deserve to be free. The more you learn, the more you earn. Thereby, the more you earn, the more you learn. The stock market is a machine, and I am more than capable of operating this machine. Let's get into it, y'all. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you are tuning in from around the globe, welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast, and welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers family. This is a live market breakdown covering the $1 trillion stocks, SPX, the NASDAQ 100, SPY, and QQQ. We cover pre-market levels, opening bell moves, headlines that move the market and or are associated with our $1 trillion stocks. We'll be looking at charts, checking out Bitcoin and Ethereum levels, and some motivation along the way. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. Let's get into it. You know how we like to start the show. We check out the value. What is the market cap of our $1 trillion tickers, y'all? So starting, the most valuable company in the world is NVIDIA, y'all. 4.5 trillion, followed by Google. Google over 4 trillion now, y'all. Google hit 4 trillion. Google hit 4 trillion, y'all. Apple, 3.8 trillion. Microsoft, 3.5 trillion. Amazon, 2.6 trillion. TSM, 1.7 trillion. AVGO, 1.66 trillion. Meta, 1.61 trillion. Tesla, 1.4 trillion. And Berkshire.B, $1 trillion, y'all. All right, let's get into these pre-market levels. NVIDIA pre-market low, 184.63. Pre-market high. Oh, let me turn on my TikTok stream. Give me 1 second, y'all. There we 2, 1. All right, NVIDIA pre-market low, 184.64. Pre-market high, 186.08. Apple pre-market low, 258.65. Pre-market high, 260. Google pre-market low. Google gapped up in the overnight, 333.02. Pre-market high, 335.85. Microsoft pre-market low, 474.85. Pre-market high, 477.30. Amazon pre-market low, 245.32. Pre-market high, 247.66. TSM pre-market low, 331.67. Pre-market high, 334.23. AVGO pre-market low, 349.89. Pre-market high, 354.67. Meta pre-market low, 640.80. Pre-market high, 645. Tesla pre-market low, 447.91. pre-market high, 451.46. Berkshire.B, pre-market low, 449.73. Pre-market high, 498.65. The VIX is under 15 again, y'all. The VIX is currently at 1491. SPY, pre-market low, 694.03. Pre-market high, 697.30. Oh, let me move this all-time high. Yesterday we did hit all-time high, so let me move that up. As you can see, this 5:30 candle is when the announcement for the inflation data came out. And as you can see, the inflation data came out cool. Let me show you here. Inflation data. Core CPI month over month came in cooler than expected. Was expected 0.3. It actually came in at 0.2. So that is a plus for stocks. That's why you saw that big jump in that candle. And then CPI month over month came in exactly where it was forecasted, along with CPI year over year came in exactly where it was forecasted. So that's why we saw that huge candle at 5:30. And we'll see the same huge candle here on QQQ. Okay, QQQ pre-market low 625.42, pre-market high 629.51. And as you can see, that same 5:30 candle. And it's going to show here as well on the SPX pre-market low 6,964, pre-market high 6,997. Almost to that 7,000, y'all. We almost hit 7,000 with that announcement, y'all. It was very close. Only a couple dollars away. NAS 100 pre-market low 25,697. Pre-market high 25,871, y'all. Okay, this platform that I'm using is TradingView. I'm going to put all the pre-market zones on here so we can see the pre-market and the opening bell moves. So in the top left hand corner, I have NVIDIA to the right, followed by Apple, Google, and Microsoft. And then underneath NVIDIA, we have Amazon, and to the right, we have TSM, AVGO, and Meta Platforms. Okay, let's check out some news before the market opens. Let me get to my bookmarks here. Give me 1 second to scroll down, y'all. We got a lot of news we didn't get into yesterday. First piece of news. This was actually a few days ago, so I'm not going to get into that. Okay. Oh, yeah, I thought this was interesting. This was from CES. They actually have some glasses for blind people. Check it out, y'all.
Glasses for the blind, and they actually replicate what a guide dog for the blind does. So if a guide dog works by pulling your hand, avoiding you from obstacles and taking care of you, what we do is the same, but we don't pull your hand, we are on your head, so we actually pull your head using haptics. We use AI to understand, for example, what's a safe surface, what is not a safe surface, to understand objects around and how you can interact with them, to understand if you're indoor or outdoor, and we do all of that on device. We do not need internet connectivity. The first time I ever saw a blind person navigating one of our systems, enabling what they've ever done before, it was amazing. There were some tears involved.
That's dope. That's dope. Technology is getting so good that it will allow blind people to put this device on their head and they'll be able to see without a guide dog. Now that's a good use of technology, y'all. Salute to that company. I hope they get some more investors. Okay, this next piece of news explains the 5 pillars of wealth. So number 1, income. How do I earn more? What skills do I need to be valuable enough to earn more? Number 2, taxes. How do I pay less taxes? What laws do I need to read on so I can learn how to pay less taxes? Number 3, savings. How do I spend less? What systems must I put in place that force me to save? Number 4, investing. How can I find the best risk to reward investment? How can I analyze any investment to determine its likely risks and returns? Number 5, legacy. What can I pass on to my children? How can I give my kids a good life without depriving them the struggle that built me? Shout out to that. Thought that was some good game right there, y'all. Speaking of that, I have some motivation from IG, y'all. Check it out.
It ain't all good, but it ain't all bad either. So be thankful. Be happy. Smile. You're gonna be productive today.
We will be productive today.
Be happy. Y'all gonna be productive today. So just be happy. Be thankful.
I like that clip, man. It made me smile right there. Shout out to that young brother. Next clip.
Chase excellence, never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry and master it? Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
Shout out George Fraser, Dr. George Fraser. Always dropping good game. I got one more right now. You know who it is, prime time.
You gotta want it first. Then you gotta work it. Then you have the opportunity to win it. But it all starts with your want. You gotta want this. I can't want this for you. You gotta want this like a mother. Then the work has to happen. Ain't nobody giving you no W. You gotta go take that thing, man. You gotta want it first.
Shout out Dion. Let's go. Let's get it. All right, back to the news. The world's largest asset management firms. Number 1, BlackRock. Over 10 trillion in assets under management. 10 trillion, y'all. Vanguard, number 2, 9.3 trillion assets under management. Fidelity, 5 trillion. State Street, 4 trillion. Morgan Stanley, 3 trillion. JP Morgan, 3 trillion. They actually have the same amount as Morgan Stanley. 3.61 trillion, y'all, assets under management. You want to know, is your company that you want to invest in a good company? Check out if BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, State Street are invested in them. If they're not, it's probably not a good investment. Okay, I got a quick clip from Trump, y'all, 15-second clip.
Plan to distribute the money from the Venezuela oil sales.
We want to make sure that Venezuela can survive. Venezuela needs money. We're going to have a lot of money left over. And the money left over is going to the United States of America, and the oil companies are going to be very happy.
Shout out Trump, man. He said that money going to the United States. Let's get it. Okay. I thought this was interesting. This is from the world of statistics. The years that these companies were founded. Instagram, 2010. WhatsApp, 2009. Twitter, 06. Facebook, 04. Google, 98. Amazon 94, NVIDIA 93, Qualcomm 85, Dell 84, Cisco 84, Oracle 77, Apple 76, Microsoft 75, Intel 68, Sony 46, HP 39, IBM 1911, Nintendo 1889. Wow, that is crazy. I didn't know Nintendo was out in the 1800s. That is insane. But you can see NVIDIA was founded in 1933, and in 2026, it's the most valuable company in the world. So it take time to get rich, y'all. It take time to get rich. You ain't got to rush this thing. We finna get it. We finna get it for sure. You know, the average millionaire is 55. Market open, market open, market open. Let's go. The market is open January 13th, 2026, 6:30 a.m. The market is open, y'all. Let's get to this money. Let's see how we doing. NVIDIA, let's go on a 1-minute chart so you can see how that thing moving. All right, NVIDIA is down fractionally 184.70. Apple is down over 0.5% at 259.16. Google is up over 1% at 335.40. Microsoft is down 0.5% at 474.39. Amazon is down almost 0.5% at 245.36. TSM is up over 0.25% at 332.98. AVGO is up over 0.25% at 353.42. Meta is down 0.25% at 640, y'all. Tesla is up fractionally at 449.80. Berkshire.B is down almost 0.5% at 496.72. The VIX is back to 15, y'all. SPY is up fractionally at 695.50. QQQ is at break even at 627.20. SPX is up fractionally. Oh, looks like I gotta move this all-time high. You see that candle right there? You see that 1-minute candle? That's when we had the announcement for the inflation data. You see that? That was a monster candle. If you had predicted that inflation was going to come in cool, and you would, if you're trading futures to the upside, ooh, you made a bag right quick. Super bag. You see that same candle on a NASDAQ 100 here. It's barely over break even currently at 25,775. Let's check out the Fear and Greed Index, y'all. Check out the Fear and Greed. We are in greed, y'all. We are in greed. Remember when we first started this show, we were in extreme fear. And then we watched fear slowly leave the market to fear. Yesterday we were in neutral, and now we are in greed, y'all. I guess because we had all-time highs. All right, let's get back to the news, y'all. Oh yeah, this. Shout out Tom Lee, man. Tom Lee. Sometimes he be right, but sometimes he be way wrong. This is a quick clip, y'all.
As I said, you're getting right back on the horse. 250? 250,000?
Yeah, you can bleep me out too if I just say the number.
Yeah, that'd be good for you. That we don't care. I'm trying to protect you. Yeah, 250.
Yeah.
250,000, not $250, which some people still have.
So, in 2026, if Bitcoin gets to 200 or 250,000, it would be breaking the 4-year cycle. So that's sort of part of our view is that this, if you follow the 4-year cycle, Bitcoin should be down this year. But I think that there's tailwinds that are building. And part
Let
of
me
it
put
is
Bitcoin on the
we
chart while you
reset
talk about
leverage
Bitcoin.
on October 10th with that big shock. Right. And now I think there is still institutional adoption taking place, and Wall Street is still building a lot of products on the blockchain. And then we have U.S. government support. So I think these are tailwinds that help Bitcoin recover this year.
And even though people have pointed out the divergence from gold and silver, you think with gold and silver doing well, eventually Bitcoin benefits from that trade?
Yeah, it does look like gold rallies typically lead Bitcoin rallies. So I think it's been healthy for gold to rally. Part of it's, dollar debasement.
Yeah.
And now with monetary easing, those are things that are supportive of crypto to follow.
Man, gold been rallying. And Bitcoin ain't been doing nothing, man. What you talking about? But he said Bitcoin gonna hit 250,000 by the end of the year. I don't know about that, Tom. He said that last year, man. And it did not happen. All right. This next piece of news comes from Walter Bloomberg on Twitter. Walmart partners with Google to allow shoppers to purchase products through Gemini. Shout out to Walmart, man. Walmart just got accepted into the NASDAQ 100. That's the QQQ. And they doing business with Google. Google, the $4 trillion company. One of the AI leaders, y'all. Shout out to that partnership. I'm invested in Google. Okay, I got a quick clip from Buffett, y'all. It's a 1-minute clip. Check it out.
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. I mean, that doesn't mean that industries stay good forever or businesses stay good forever. But learning to think about business models, what I learned at 20 is useful to me now. What I learned at 25 is useful to me now. And so it's not a field that changes dramatically in terms of the underlying principles. It's like physics. I mean, there's underlying principles. Now they're doing all kinds of things with physics they weren't doing 50 years ago. But if you know if you have the principles, if you know what makes a good business, if you know what makes a good manager, if you know what makes a good product, and you learn that in one business, there is some transference to other businesses as you go along, and you learn what things you're not going to understand. I mean, knowing what to leave out is just as important as knowing what to focus on. And I don't think I can win every game. Somebody said, "How do you beat Bobby Fischer?" You play him any game except chess. So I don't play Bobby Fischer chess. And there's a lot of value to learning that over time and learning what you're good at and what you're not good at.
How about that, y'all? Shout out to the gang from Buffett, man. What you learn when you first start investing, it's going to accumulate. So just keep on learning, and we're going to keep on making more money. You really learn when you lose money. You know what I mean? You like, man, I'm not making that mistake no more. And that's why it's important, man. Take them notes. You know what I mean? When you got into the position, why you got into the position, what happened, how did you feel when you got into the position, how did you feel when you sold the position? If you took an L on that, write it down. You made some bread, write it down. So you'll be able to look back and remember. And you can learn from past mistakes and make more bread next time, y'all. All right, next piece of news comes from Wedbush. Wedbush maintained its outperform rating and $350 price target on Apple. Apple is currently at 261. So they have a price target for 350. It says this is a monumental year for Apple and Tim Cook, and to finally bring Cupertino into the AI revolution era. It talks about their partnership with Google and how Siri will be revamped by Google Gemini. So shout out to that partnership. I'm invested in both of those companies, and I do expect a lot from Apple, and I can't wait for Siri to be improved. Next, let's see. Earnings this week, y'all. Who had earnings this week? JP Morgan had earnings this week, y'all. Let's put them on a chart. Y'all. JP Morgan had earnings today, this morning, pre-market. Here it is. It's not showing on TradingView. They have not updated it yet, but I saw it already. They beat on the top and bottom. As you can see, when the news dropped, the market ran up. This was at 3:42 in the morning. It has since took a decline. I do have some. I have the exact numbers later. I'll get to it later in the show. And Delta also had earnings pre-market. Let's check out Delta. Oh, that's the wrong Delta. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. I was wondering why that chart look like that. That look like that damn Delta chart. Okay, so as you can see, JP Morgan's earnings weren't up here, but Delta's are. So I guess they're going one company at a time. I don't know, TradingView. Get it together. But Delta beat on earnings, but they missed on revenue, y'all. They missed by 0.52% on revenue, and they beat earnings by 1.5%. As you can see, when the announcement was made at 3:30, it had this drop from 70.35 all the way down to 66.60, but it did open green, and now it's headed back down. Next, tomorrow, pre-market, we have Wells Fargo, Citibank, Bank of America. It is the financials earning week, y'all. And then on Thursday, we have Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and BlackRock. But we do have one company on Thursday that we definitely have to pay attention to. That is TSM. It is one of our $1 trillion tickers, y'all. So we'll be looking for that. That is pre-market on Thursday, TSM. All right. Let's check out the sectors. Let's see where money is moving into. All right, XLK, our technology sector, is up over 0.25% at 147.22. XLY barely over break even at 124.55. XLY is our consumer discretionary ETF. XLC is up 0.25% at 117.84. That is our communication sector ETF. And XLF, our financial sector ETF, is down almost 1% at 54.81. XLV, our healthcare ETF, is down almost 0.5% at 156.64. XLP is up over 0.25% at 80.45. This is our consumer staples ETF. And XLE is up almost 1% at 46.79. This is our energy ETF. Our utilities ETF is barely under break even at 42.56. Our industrials ETF, XLI, is up over 0.5% at 164.04. XLB, our materials ETF, is down fractionally at 48.47. And XLRE is down almost 0.25% at 40.53. That is our real estate ETF, y'all. All right. Oh, Google hit all-time highs, y'all. Google hitting all-time highs. Let me move that up there, y'all. Shout out Google hitting all-time highs. Gotta love Google's AI, y'all. I love it. I made me a nice beginner video for y'all so you can learn the power of investing, the foundations that you need, the basics. I'll show that a little bit later. Okay, so the SoFi, the next piece of news comes from Business Insider. This is the SoFi CEO. He says credit card issuers simply won't be able to sustain profitability at a 10% rate cap. Because you remember how Trump was talking about there's going to be a 1-year cap on credit card rates at 10%, and that's supposed to go into effect on January 20th, 1 week from today, targeting excessive 20 to 30% APRs, which are messing up the consumers, y'all. Trump is trying to help the consumers with that 1-year cap. And how is it that the credit card companies won't be able to sustain profitability unless they're robbing consumers, making them pay 20 to 30% APRs? How is that? That is a messed up business model. You have to rob your consumers in order for you to stay profitable. That is messed up, y'all. Oh, here go Trump. He did an impersonation of the president of France.
Emmanuel said to me, Donald, you have to increase my prescription drug prices by 200% or whatever. I would love to do it, be such an honor. Whatever you want, Donald. Don't tell the population. Please, Donald. I beg you. Every country said the same thing. No, we will not do this. Some were strong, some were very nice, some were rude. But they all said one thing, no. And within, I'd say on average, 3.2 minutes, they were all saying, we would be honored to quadruple our drug prices.
Yo. I wonder if the other presidents be impersonating Trump when they do speeches. I wonder. Or is Trump just crazy like that? I don't know, man. Let's see. This is Trump actually on Air Force One talking about the credit card cap.
Yeah. Then they're in violation of the law. Very severe things. No, I want a cap on credit card interest rates because, some of them are 28, almost 30%. And that, people don't know they're paying 30%. The people out there, they're working, and they have no idea that they're paying 30%. No way. We're putting a 1-year cap at 10%. And that's it. They know it. And they've really abused the public. The credit card companies have totally abused it. I'm not going to let it happen.
Shout out Trump. So ridiculous. Oh, I thought this was interesting. So, Trump was like, this is the chairman of the Fed, Jerome Powell, talking about what happened with Trump.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned, in part, a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
And then what did Trump say? Trump said, I don't know anything about it, but he's certainly not very good at the Fed. And he's certainly not very good at building buildings. Bro, Trump is crazy. What is he talking about? He don't know nothing about it. Man, come on now. All right. That's enough. That's enough for Trump for today. You know, he always making headlines. All right, let's check out some more stocks that we like to check out on the show. AMD. Wow, look at AMD, y'all. AMD is up almost 7%. 221.70, y'all. AMD is running. Let's go. Bitcoin is up 92,600, y'all. IBIT is up 1.25% at 52.53. Ethereum is back to 3,150, y'all. BMNR is up almost 1% at 31.42. Palantir is down almost 1% at 177.80. Robinhood is down over 0.5% at 116.60. Grab is down over 1% at 4.84. And XLG is down fractionally at 59.64, y'all. Let's run the numbers on the $1 trillion tickers right quick. NVIDIA down almost 0.5% at 184.13. Apple is down fractionally at 259.82. Google is up over 2% at 338.82. Microsoft is down 1% at 472.40. Amazon is down almost 0.25% at 245.89. TSM is up over 0.5% at 333.70. AVGO is up 0.25% at 353. Meta is down over 1% at 634.93. Meta looks like Meta broke out of the consolidation to the downside, y'all. Let's check it out on the daily. Remember our consolidation zone here. We do have some more support here at 633.60. This is our yellow line here. But it looks like Meta is breaking out to the downside, y'all. We need Meta to go up, y'all. What is going on? Hopefully we'll find us some support, but it looks like we can move this consolidation down a little bit to this candle here from Thursday, January 8th. And we still broke out of it, so yeah, Meta is struggling. Meta is struggling right now, y'all. All right, let's check out. Let's go to the 5-minute chart now so we can see what's going on. Tesla up fractionally, 449.99. Berkshire.B is down over 0.5% at 495.21. The VIX is back up over 15. The VIX is at 1536. SPY is barely under break even at 694.72. QQQ is up fractionally at 627.84. SPX is barely under break even at 6,972. And the NAS 100 is up almost 0.25% at 25,820, y'all. All right, let's get into some more news. I thought this was interesting. This is from Elon. Quick clip.
One side recommendation I have is don't worry about squirreling money away for retirement in 10 or 20 years. It won't matter. Either we're not going to be here, or you won't need to save for retirement. If any of the things that we've said are true, saving for retirement will be irrelevant. Services will be there to support you. You'll have the home, you'll have the healthcare, you'll have the entertainment.
What? Man, come on, Elon. I don't believe that, bro. I don't believe that. What you mean in 10, 20 years you ain't gonna have to worry about retirement? What you mean, bro? What you mean? That's so ridiculous. Yo, don't believe that, y'all. We gotta get to this bag. And we gonna go get it. We're not playing. We can't depend on that. You the richest man in the world. It's easy for you to say that. Don't worry about retirement. Shoot, this dude crazy. All right, this next story comes from Google. Google owns a company called Wing, and this is the future of. It says the future of retail is in landing. We are expanding our partnership with Walmart to 150 stores, bringing drone delivery to 40 million plus Americans from LA to Miami. So the drone deliveries are coming, y'all. Google is doing a partnership with Walmart, and they will be able to deliver you packages from a drone. I can't wait to see it, y'all. I can't wait to see it. Shout out Google, man. We love the innovation. I can't wait to see it. You mean I don't have to drive to Walmart? I could just get it delivered by a drone to my house? That is wonderful, y'all. Let's go. That might make people gain a lot of weight, though, if they don't go out the house. They just get all their deliveries by drone. Well, I guess you got to walk outside to pick up the delivery, but that ain't enough walking. You got to get 10,000 steps in a day, y'all. All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So much Trump news, man, but it's got to be said, y'all. All right, Trump said this, y'all. Under sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats, the average American household's monthly utility bills went up massively, over 30%. I never want Americans to pay higher electricity bills than data centers. Therefore, my administration is working with major American technology companies to secure their commitment to the American people, and we will have much to announce in the coming weeks. First up is Microsoft, who my team is working with, and will make major changes beginning this week to ensure Americans don't pick up the tab for their power consumption in the form of paying higher utility bills. We are the hottest country in the world and the number one in AI. Data centers are key to that boom and keeping Americans free and secure. But the big technology companies who build them must pay their own way. Thank you and congratulations to Microsoft. More to come soon. So that's good. I like that. Trump said he's going to make these hyperscaler companies pick up the tab, starting with Microsoft. And why not? How much is Microsoft worth again? $3 trillion? Let them pick up the tab, man. Not the average American, man. Shout out Trump for that, man. All right, let's see. This is from Mark Monroe on Twitter. He said the U.S. is trying to strong arm the Fed into lowering interest rates to 1%. Powell said, you got the wrong one. Pay attention to Saudi Arabia and the moves they make. Civil War 2.0 is brewing in the U.S., and this is only day 12 of 2026. 5 years later, the real consequences will arrive. So he said that yesterday. Pay attention to Saudi Arabia and the moves they make. All right. Gotta check out Saudi Arabia, y'all. Man. Shout out Mark Monroe, man. He definitely put me up on options, man. Told me how to get this bag. He was the first one to introduce options to the black community. And we definitely ran a bag up. And we will continue to do so. Salute, Mark. You need to do a Twitter Spaces, man. Give us some at least once a quarter. Let us know what you think, man. We love your forecasting. Oh, I thought this was interesting. This is the U.S. Secretary of War speaking on the Pentagon.
Model company to join. But today, we're excited to announce the next frontier AI model company to join GenAI.mil, and that is Grok from XAI, which will go live later this month. So I want to thank you, Elon, and your incredible team for leaning forward with us on this as well. Very soon, we will have the world's leading AI models on every unclassified and classified network throughout our department. Long overdue.
Wow. Shout out Elon, man. Doing business with the Pentagon. XAI. Man. Elon definitely gonna hit that trillion, y'all. What that mean? More contracts for Elon. He definitely finna get that bag. What that mean? More power going into Grok. We can make some more videos with Grok Imagine, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. Alright. That's probably... I played a lot of clips on this show. I normally don't play this many clips. So, that's enough for the clips. I think I had a couple more on IG.
Just work. And if you don't get what you thought you were going to get, show up and still go to work. Because along the process, what's more important? What you acquire or who you become? And a lot of people think what they acquire is the thing that makes them who they are. No, it's who you become in the process of chasing what you want to acquire.
Real game right there, y'all. Real game. Oh, shout out to this brother. He was dropping real game too, y'all. Check it out.
Come to understand is that we are starting to see a generation become what it is that they watch. And the algorithm on all social media accounts is more willing to show you a K-flop before they're willing to show you a version of me. Because one thing that the system don't benefit from is for us as young black men to learn how to critically think. And how did a race that once used to be killed in pursuit of learning how to read and become literate stop doing so? But now I'm noticing my young men, they aspire to be YouTubers and streamers. If left to the narratives in mainstream media, you will be made to feel as if you can't be black and a scholar too. They only portray us as athletes and entertainers, as if the only forms of contribution we make to the world is being a source of entertainment. And then what's worse is that these narratives that we've seen on mainstream media is having real adverse effects. I'm going to use Howard University for an example. They said that 19% of Howard University student demographic is young black men, which means that there's more non-young black men attending a historically black college than young black men. And I have a problem with that. Because what is it that's making us feel as if we are intellectually inferior? Because I'm also noticing that there's a silencing of our scholars. What do I mean? When I was in Syracuse, I noticed the trend that was happening. I'm like, yo, why I don't ever see Louis Farrakhan? I don't see Angela Davis. So I'm wondering what happened to my scholars. Because when I look at my history, that's who I look up to. Do y'all understand what I mean? There's some people that have never talked to a black person in their life. And the only references of how we exist is our entertainers. Then I went to speak out of school and I told a young man, why you call me a YN? Why not call me a young king, young god? He said, nah, that's crazy. I said, so wait, you find that you are more comfortable reaffirming and being a young Negro than in being a young god? And I said, who conditioned us to feel that way? Because there's no way we could build a village where the youth don't respect their elders are scared of their children. But another thing I noticed that I did wrong is that I assume that you all should know what it is that I have been taught. What do I mean? When I first came to speak in February, one of the young men came to speak and he said it was his first time wearing a suit. That's the reality. I forgot that part. Then I'm assuming you all should know what it is that I have been taught. So now I have to teach. As young black men, I need all y'all to always have at least one black suit. Come to understand is that we are starting to see a generation become what it is that they watch.
Ooh, he was cooking. He was cooking, y'all. He was cooking. I had to play it. His name is Jordan Pierre. Check him out. He was cooking. I had to let that rock, y'all. All right. Let's check out these prices, y'all. NVIDIA. Let's check out some ETFs. Dow Jones ETF, y'all, is down over 0.5% at 492. IWM, the Russell 2000, is down fractionally at 261. SPYM is down almost 0.25% at 81.63. QQQM is down fractionally at 258.06. SPYG is down almost 0.25% at 108.10. SOXQ looks like it hit all-time highs today, y'all. Let me move this up. SOXQ hit all-time highs, y'all. That is the semiconductor ETF. But you don't have to pay them high prices. You can get this semiconductor ETF for $60.94, y'all. It's up almost 1% today. So I wouldn't buy it today. Just put it on your watch list. Wait till it go down and then buy it. TQQQ, triple leverage, barely over break even at 55.91. SOXQ, triple leverage, is up almost 3% today, y'all. At 56.21. SOXX looks like it hit all-time high today as well. Shout out to SOXX hitting all-time high. 333.33. SMH hit an all-time high too. These are all semiconductors. That's why they all hit all-time highs, y'all. 392.27. XLG, our top 50 S&P 500 ETF. I can't wait to buy it, but it's too high right now. Looks like it rejected the gap. Remember how I was telling y'all, most of the time, before the gap gets filled completely, if it fills it halfway and then rejects or bounces. Looks like that's what happened yesterday. XLG is down over 0.25% at 59.56. And the IVES ETF is up almost 0.25% at 33.27. SPYI is down fractionally at 53.20. And QQQI is at 54.70, y'all. All right. Let's check out our trading dollar tickers. NVIDIA is down almost 0.5% at 184. Apple is barely under break even at 260. Google is up 1 3/4% at 337.84. Microsoft is down almost 1% at 473. Amazon is down almost 0.5% at 245. TSM is up almost 0.5% at 333. AVGO up almost over 0.5% at 354. Meta is down almost 2% at 629. Tesla is up almost 0.25% at 449.91. Berkshire.B is down almost 1% at 494. The VIX is at 1550. SPY is down fractionally at 693.92. QQQ is down barely under break even at 626.84. The SPX is down fractionally at 6,963, and the NASDAQ 100 is barely under break even at 25,760. Let's see. So KeyBank went to Asia And when they checked out what they saw, this is what they came back with. This is from Walter Bloomberg on Twitter. KeyBank said its Asia trip reinforced a bullish view on AI and memory stocks, citing strong hyperscaler demand and tightening supply. The firm raised estimates and price targets for several names, with the most positive view on NVIDIA, MU, AMD, and Intel. KeyBank highlighted higher COWOS capacity for NVIDIA, a stronger for long memory cycle benefiting MU, and broad data center tailwinds across the sector. It turned cautious on QCOM due to weakening China demand and raising pricing pressure, while noting mixed conditions in smartphones and largely stable trends among analog semiconductors. So that's probably why those semiconductor ETFs were hitting all-time highs, y'all. And why AMD was up almost 7%. KeyBank also upgraded AMD to overweight from sector weight and set a $270 price target. Yeah, that's definitely, both of those reasons is definitely why AMD is running today. It says the firm says strong hyperscaler demand has left AMD nearly sold out of server CPUs for 2026, with a possible 10 to 15% price increase under consideration. KeyBank also expects robust MI355 and MI455 demand to drive AI revenue of 14 to 15 billion this year. All right. This other piece of news comes from Unusual Wells. Condo prices have posted their biggest decline since 2012. Get them condos on discount right now, y'all. All right, this next piece of news comes from Business Insider. It says, you go from having tools to having agents with human-like capability that really represent free labor, computer science professor said in a recent interview. He works at the University of Louisville, and he is the author of Artificial Superintelligence, a Futuristic Approach. So he believes that once AI is up and running, it's going to deliver free labor in cognitive and physical tasks, fueling investor bets on trillion-dollar valuations for companies like OpenAI. But he also warns that this evolution risks societal lock-in to unreliable AI systems, predicting up to 99% unemployment by 2030 as cognitive jobs vanish abruptly once AI reliability surpasses human thresholds. What? He said predicting up to 99% unemployment by 2030 in 4 years? 99% unemployment? Oh my God, that is insane. I guess we're really gonna need universal basic income if 99% of people is unemployed. All right, next piece of news comes from Unusual Wells. There are currently no states in the U.S. where a full-time worker earning the minimum wage can afford a modest 2-bedroom apartment, according to the reports from National Low-Income Housing Coalition. Man, that is so janky, y'all. That is so janky. Next piece of news comes from Uncle Charles on Twitter. It says Venezuela stocks soar 130% to record highs as Madrado's ouster spurs economic turnaround hopes. That's interesting. This says JP Morgan executive and investor Charles Coney speculates on who precisely bought Venezuelan stocks before the regime change, hinting at potential insider trading or sharp market foresight amid the country's volatile history. Yeah, man. Whoever had that insider information, they definitely made a bag. That thing ran 130%. Goodness. Probably the same people who made that bet on Polymarket that the president wasn't going to be the president in January. But I heard Polymarket didn't even pay them. They had some little wording that they used to where they didn't have to pay them out, which is cold-blooded. All right, last piece of news comes from Citibank. Citi will cut 1,000 jobs this week, y'all. 1,000 jobs. So if you are currently working for Citibank, you might be getting cut this week, y'all. Hope you've been working hard and not slacking. All right. That is it, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live and TikTok Live. You know how we like to end the show with Neighborhood Nip. Neighborhood Nip, where we at? Oh, let me play this right quick too, y'all.
You're more blessed than you think. Sometimes you just struggle to realize how much is in front of you because you're constantly thinking about what you have to obtain. The rich person is not the one who has a lot, but the one that has enough. So you should seek to have enough, inshallah.
Yes, sir.
It don't happen overnight, and there's going to be moments when it's really, really frustrating, and there's going to be moments when it's really, really inspiring and empowering. And if you get too high off the highs and too low off the lows, you're going to take yourself on a ride that's very uncomfortable. I think it's just about being committed to the work, appreciating it, when it's good and not stressing too bad when it's bad, just appreciating the work and staying focused on showing up every day.
Yes, sir. All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to $1 Trillion Tickers. We'll be back tomorrow, pre-market and the market open. And that breaking news, y'all. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.